and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. And today, guys, we are taking another cheeky look at Polkadot. And will DOT actually cross that $100, Chris, threshold, which is quite a milestone. So it's an article that's come out today. We're going to have a cheeky look at that and see just about what's going on there. Chris, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that's bullish, just to say the least, isn't it? I'm unsure, but it definitely has the potential to. So it'd be interesting to see what they write about in this article, Nick, for sure.
It really does, yeah. So guys, as always, if you find this useful, informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really does appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said and done and out of the way, let's jump over to the desktop, Chris, and take a look at what they're talking about here with $100 Polkadot.
Yeah, let's do it, Nick. Let's get straight into it.
Fantastic. So Polkadot price, will DOT cross $100? Basically, they're saying here, we have performed a fundamental analysis on Polkadot and provided updates on recent developments in the Polkadot ecosystem. So let's see what they're talking about. Polkadot is one of the most promising projects in the crypto space. It is poised to enter and remain as one of the top 5 blockchain projects, and this the development that has been going on over the past few months will soon start reflecting in the Polkadot price as well. Now, some of that I kind of get and some of it I disagree with, and I think everybody will have their say on this, but will it enter and remain in one of the top 5? I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. I think it may enter it. I don't think it will necessarily stay there, because ultimately we have things like XRP being suppressed currently, right? And that's going to have a negative impact on XRP's position, but a positive impact on others, right? But when that actually flips around, which it will do, it's just a matter of time before potentially some more actually, relatively good projects that slip out of the top 5. So yeah, I think it may enter the top 5. Whether it will stay there, that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, I'm quite aligned to that as well, Nick. I kind of feel like it's definitely a top 10 project for sure.
Oh, absolutely, top 10. There's no doubt in my mind for that. It's just that top 5s are like, it's going to be tough to stay there. But so that's the first thing we kind of disagree with. But let's see what else they have to say. So let us review, as they say here, some of the development that has happened in the Polkadot ecosystem in the past few months and how it could affect the Polkadot price. So Polkadot developments. Many new projects were launched on Polkadot, like DOT, Reef, PHA, XFT, BLZ, CRU, Ren, obviously we know of Ren, OM, AKRO, XOR, etc. And in the past 10 days, some of these projects increased by more than 50% in price. Now, that's all well and great and everything. I think ultimately with Polkadot, just because a project that's using, or sitting on Polkadot does well, does not necessarily mean that DOT is going to do well. It all depends on how those fees are paid, because there are options to actually pay within their native token of that particular project, and not like Ethereum always using the blockchain's native token. So not always DOT in that scenario, but I imagine that many would probably are at the moment. Moving on to their second point, Chris, they talk about transaction speed in Polkadot, right? And how it reached 1,000 transactions per second. And this speed is much higher than Bitcoin, Ethereum, and PayPal. Well, yeah. The next higher TPS is by XRP, right, which is 1,500. And ultimately, Visa has high speed of almost 65,000 transactions per second. Now, when we talk about transactions per second, sure, Polkadot is fast. Obviously, it's not as fast as XRP, which has been up there for quite some time. But we're entering a world where sharding is possible and an endless, scalable amount of transactions per second whilst running things in parallel. So, there's potentially, it's great to have 1,000, but it's going to need to be higher than that if you're truly wanting mainstream. So let's see what else is going on here. So their third point that they talk about in this article, Chris, is all about the transaction fee for using Polkadot blockchain, which is 15 cents, which is much lower than Ethereum, yes, but much higher than something like XRP. So we do have to bear that in mind, right? And in fact, it's much higher than many others. So yes, the Polkadot fee is cheaper than Ethereum, but I think almost all are cheaper than Ethereum. Chris, would you agree?
Yeah, completely agree at the moment. I was just going to mention it is currently Polkadot's sat at 4th position at the moment, I believe. But yeah, I don't think it'll stay there permanently.
No,
Like,
no.
like what we mentioned. Sorry, I just wanted to go back to that point because I think
Yeah,
it came
it's
across
important,
like,
isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
And their fourth point that they mentioned here is Binance has announced a $10 million fund for projects that want to develop based on Polkadot. Great, yeah, fantastic. There is a much higher chance for these projects to get listed on Binance, one of the world's top crypto exchanges. Now, yes, absolutely. So Binance is fantastic, but it definitely requires a more of an intermediate kind of understanding of blockchain to utilize it, right? It is more complex than something like Coinbase or some of those other. And with that being said, though, Binance is fantastic and they do a lot for the crypto space. So good to see that that is happening. I cannot knock the fact that they are, putting out a $10 million fund for projects based around Polkadot. That's fantastic.
and I was going to say we're both invested in this project. It sounds really negative,
It
but
does sound
I think
negative. It's not what we're trying to do here at all, is it?
no, definitely not. We would love this project, to achieve $100 a token, but I think, we want to see it achieve some more realistic price points, right? That's my view anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. And their fifth point here is over $10 billion worth of DOT has been staked, which is also fantastic, which is one of the highest staked values. Yeah, they have to look at it from a value point of view. I think Cardano takes the pie from a most decentralized point and staking perspective as well. But anyway, it's 10 billion of DOT staked is great. And different platforms have different APYs for staking DOT, which can go up to 20% on the Math wallet. So that's fantastic. You've got to get those returns for sure. And Polkadot has been one of the favorite projects of not only retail investors, but also a lot of VCs or venture capitalists, right? So many top investors have invested in Polkadot. Below is a list of a few of them, right? Binance, Web3, you got KR1, so it's quite a lot, right? And Web3 Capital, I think I said that already anyway. Which is fantastic. You do need, a wide range, right? And Web3 Foundation grant recipients, right? So yeah, really good stuff. Which with such strong fundamentals, we could see a very high return on investment if we select Polkadot as our investment. Polkadot has the complete potential to cross $100 per dot in the future, and join us on Telegram. And then obviously, this information is disclosed on Altcoin Buzz is not financial advice. It's for educational and informational purposes only. Any information or strategies are thoughts and opinions relevant to accepted level of risk tolerance, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea, right? So they really wanted to get the point across here that Polkadot is a really good project. Now, with all that said and done, they've got some really good reasons here. It's hard to argue with many of them. One, obviously, yes, there's projects on there, which is great. Transaction speed, I'm not sure I'd be boasting about that, considering we're entering third gen blockchains that are well above 1,000 anyway. It's not that I'm saying, Polkadot's bad by any stretch of the imagination, just there are things now evolving, right? As time progresses, things get better. Transaction fee, they're talking about it being 15 cents. 15 cents as a fee is still high. It shouldn't be that high. And the fact that Binance have that fund, fantastic. The fact that there is 10 billion worth of DOT staked, also fantastic. Great, investors. It's hard to argue with any of that stuff. So let's take a look at our chart, Chris, because this is where we start to get into more realistic size numbers, right? Rather than just articles out there. So let's take a look and see what we can see within the chart. So here we are on Polkadot to USD on the daily. And here we can obviously see that we've had a bit of a red day, a bit of a pullback today after 2 consecutive green days, which is good. We obviously breached our resistance level. That was at our $18.32, and we poked a little bit higher, but not much higher, and obviously came back down. Lots of selling pressure. But with that being said, we can see a few things, right? So we can see that the MACD is in a positive situation on the daily. We can see that we were basically approaching this this status here, which was bordering on the overbought angle. So you can see why a potential retracement was going to happen. So let's throw this down onto a 4-hourly, just see what we can see here. We can obviously see that motion back up. We can see that we were crisscrossing the MACD line. We had a cross here as we were moving up. And then obviously had the cross here as we were coming back down. We can see that actually we're now starting to approach the 50 level of our RSI, so that's a good level to say that it could stop going down and potentially rebound on the upside. Of course, we could see it right down here towards that 30 zone before we might see such a rebound, but everything's looking okay on the 4-hourly chart. We've fallen a little bit below our resistance line just here, but definitely nowhere near our support line, and we're relatively quite comfortable away from our first price target. So let's go throw this onto the hourly, Chris, and take a little bit of a deeper dive. And what I'm going to do is just pull that down so we can see, obviously, the shear level of a drop here. So on the hourly, the MACD is indicating very negatively. We had the cross over here, we had the cross here. It's been crisscrossing on this hourly quite a bit. And we are now approaching the 40 level of the RSI. So things are getting pretty low here, that it's only a matter of time for things to bounce onto the upside. So that's going to be really interesting. And if we drew back to our daily here, what we're going to do is we can see that we had that Fibonacci level, which was the high of $10.62. And we obviously already hit our first price target of $14.41. The second price target is $20.55, okay? That's the one that we're currently trying to get to. Once we get there, we'll be able to move further ahead. This would indicate a $26.70 and then a $30.49 after that. So there's a couple more price targets to really hit to give us a bit of a flavor of where this thing potentially might be going. And once we kind of get up to those additional levels, we'll reset our Fibonacci retracements and see where the next set of targets might be, depending on where we are within the cycle. And so everything on Polkadot in the minute is looking pretty good. I cannot see Polkadot, getting up to 100. I could be wrong. It might happen this year, but I think we'll be more comfortable in and around that $60 to $80 range, I think, at the peak of this bull cycle, Chris. I'm not sure if you align with that thinking.
Yeah, I'm completely aligned to that. I want to increase my position in Polkadot. I do think it's a good project. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, to be honest with you, Nick.
Yeah, fantastic. So guys, hopefully you found this video useful, informative, maybe just a little entertaining. And if you did, then do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really does appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said and done, Chris, we hope everyone has a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.